Hey, 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 welcome to another episode of Geekly Reveal. It's that show that brings you pop culture news on a weekly basis. As always, it's me, it's your host Dom, aka Brother Dom, all over the internet. And once again, I am joined by the totally Oscar-nominated co-host. Would you like to tell the people who you are?
It's me, it's Stephanie. I'm here with my EGOT nominations. Don't run me short by just saying that Oscar nomination. I've got all of them.
I mean,
across the board.
The Oscars are tonight or a few days ago as of you're listening to this, so that's the most prescient one, unless you talk about the Independent Spirit Awards. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk, well, we might talk about that. Who knows what's going to happen? We always go off track. We're here to talk about a lot of things, but before we get started, Steph, how are you today?
I'm good. I have some good smelling food in the slow cooker waiting for me to be done recording. I caught up on My Hero Academia today. I watched the first 3 Fast and the Furious movies last night, which was actually quite fun.
It's a fun franchise from what I recall.
Yeah.
I've only seen 2 and 3 out of those ones. I've never seen the first one.
It was freaking cheesy.
Wait, what's the one with the ejector? What's the one with the ejector seats?
The one with the ejector seats is
that Too Fast, Too Furious?
One.
That one's
That's
fun.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
I've seen 2, 3, and then I want to say 4 or 5.
We were just we were watching. We were like, hold up. The cast of this is not in any of at all in 3. Vin Diesel isn't even in the second one. It's what's happening?
No, 3 is you would think it's a spin-off until, spoiler alert for this old franchise, till you realize at the end of the movie that it's not a spin-off, it's in the same, it's the same franchise. And then
it's the same universe.
It turns out that's chronologically the 5th movie, I think.
With the gayest line, honestly.
What's that line again?
Oh, God, let me find it. He says, so at the end of the movie, this movie that has completely been unrelated to any of the things in the first 2 movies, this kid with a bad Alabama accent rolls up to drift race against his muscle car in a Tokyo parking garage. And it's Vin Diesel's character in the muscle car.
Dominic Toretto.
He rolls up, and so the reason they have this connection right away is because the guy who taught Sean, who's the Alabaman character, how to drift, tragically died, and hopefully... I'm very big on this Justice for Han thing that's going on now with the next movie, because... he was the best character in this movie.
He ain't dead in the next 3 or 4 movies. Which
good.
People make the joke before you get into that line. The thing that's funny about this is, if you look at the movie, Bow Wow is selling Gen 1 iPods for a lot of money. That's when this takes place. But apparently all these other movies that happen with iPhones and stuff in them, and all kinds of technology happen after this movie. Well, they come out after this movie. But Han is alive in those movies. So people are wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense.
Which is why they're chronologically, quote-unquote, in between.
Well, because Han is alive in all these movies after Tokyo Drift. And it's not stated that he just didn't die. It's just, he hasn't... Because he keeps saying, I think I'm going to go to Tokyo one day. You're like, excuse me?
Don't do it. But so he rolls up. Let me tell you this gay thing.
Yeah.
Real fast.
The one gay thing in the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh yeah, there's nothing else that's remotely homoerotic in these movies.
American Dad does a whole joke about it. They find a script and they're like, this, all the scenes instead of car chases just end in really passionate gay sex, and they're like, I mean, is this really what the movie's about? And the director's like, yeah. I mean, obviously.
Duh.
But yeah, what's the line?
So Sean's apparently in this scene, Dom got his big muscle car, his American muscle car from Han, and everyone else is driving these little compact Asian cars.
Yeah, Japanese the cars that wouldn't be imports in Tokyo.
Yeah. So he says, I didn't know Han was into American muscle. And Dom says, he was when he was rolling with me.
Which is, like, there was a less gay way to write that line, if you wanted to.
There's so many more heterosexual ways to phrase that.
Like, you could have said muscle cars, American muscle cars. I mean, it's not like there's Japanese muscle cars. That's not a thing from what I know. Like, he could have just said muscle cars.
Said, yeah, muscle cars.
Or American cars. Like, literally, so many combinations of words that weren't just American muscle.
Because, like, it zooms in on, like, Vin Diesel's, like, gay porn star looking whole physique and is like, he was when he was rolling with me. And it's like, my God.
It's, I mean, it gets more. I mean, The Rock shows up in this series later. Jason Statham shows up.
Oh, I can't wait.
The one thing that's good about this franchise, though, is that, like, they're not, like, super great with the female representation, although they get better as time goes on. But the one thing you can say for it is that it's a very, like, as far as ethnicity and race, that's very diverse.
Yeah.
Like, one movie literally just takes place in Tokyo with three characters, I think. One of which is rap superstar Bow Wow. Which, I mean, just think of the audacity. You're the only white guy in all of Japan, or all of Tokyo, and the first guy you meet is little Bow Wow. I feel like you feel a need to become friends with him, but...
Yeah, man, I was cracking up, because the first scene that he runs into the Japanese school and he's late, and then the teacher, like, is, like, lecturing him in Japanese, and he's like, I have no idea what she's talking about, and I was like, I leaned over to my roommate, and I was like, I bet he didn't change his shoes. Because, like, as a weeb, I know that when you go to school, you change into your school shoes before you go inside. And then he had to go out into the hallway and change into... I was like, uh-huh.
Which is also, like, a pretty well-written thing to put in this dumb movie.
Yeah, because I was like, man, like, you're pushing me to the limit, making me, like, asking me to believe that they would put this completely illiterate in Japanese, like, 17-year-old in a Japanese high school where most of the classes are in Japanese.
To be fair, I feel like he wasn't that literate in America.
Yeah, but, like, the next one, like, the next level up of that, like, of the disbelief would have been, like, you put him in here, but you're not making him change his shoes.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay.
No, that's not true. And it's funny. It's a story about how a white guy goes to Japan and becomes the best drifter. Although, I was led, at least when I watched, I was led to believe that it's not that he was the best drifter, it's just that he was better than the Drift King and no one else wanted to race him.
That seems more correct.
Like, somebody probably could have, like, Han could have done it. It seemed like he just didn't want to get involved with the mob or whatever. Did you get enough shots of ladies' butts in this movie?
If I recall, there were so many.
I mean, I don't think that stops. But
no, I doubt it.
I think they just started to, like, become self-aware a little bit of it. And Vin Diesel gets stronger. What's the next one? It's Fast and Furious is the next one, then Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 7, I think. Or, like, Furious 8 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Fate of the Furious is the 8th one.
Yeah, that's right.
8.
Fate. It's just... Oh, that's... I didn't think we were going to talk, like, 10 minutes about the Fast and the Furious movies, but I'm not upset about it either, because, I mean, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of... It reminds me of the thing when people are like, there's so much stuff that gets made fun of just because it's, like, teen girls that love it, but if, like, men liked it, like, it wouldn't get made fun of, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure, like, the Fast and Furious movies are, like, ridiculed pretty heavily, especially by its fans, but, like... I don't think anyone's out here defending them as high art, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that, like, and I think we've probably litigated this over and over again on this podcast, but that's the thing is, like, I don't think everything needs to be high fucking art.
No, it does not.
Like,
I'm just going by the, I don't think that it's, like, you know how we, like, talk trash on Twilight? I think we talked a similar kind of trash on Fast and Furious, but it was more just kind of, there was at no point where anyone thought it was something good, and I think that the only difference between that is teenagers like it versus adults like it. Because if someone told me that Fast and Furious was like, well, the first few anyway, apparently after a while they do just become, like, so self-aware that they're borderline parody.
Uh-huh.
Is at the beginning it's kind of like no one's gonna say the Too Fast Too Furious was a well-made movie that was very good and high quality. Like I don't think anyone's gonna say that. Maybe they will. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Hey, you never know. But yeah, that's high art. As long as people enjoy something and it doesn't harm people, I'm able to accept things. I like a lot of garbage as well, stuff that I would call garbage. So it's life. It's too short to be mad about. Speaking of life being too short, my partner recently started watching The Good Place on Netflix. And I've been jumping in on it, and that's a pretty good show.
It's so good. The finale was so good. I'm
very curious where they go with it. So I mean, I knew what the big spoiler from the end of the first season was. But that didn't slow down my viewing appreciation. I feel like it made it better because I don't know where it went after that. So I was trying to figure stuff out and like, oh, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? But it was overall it was very good, and I enjoy it a lot. And then we're halfway through the second season. And she's going to keep watching it, but
nice.
It's fun. It's a fun show. Well written.
Very good.
What else? But yeah, and then go ahead. I was gonna say high art and stuff. The Oscars are tonight. I don't know what's gonna win. I'm rooting for Parasite. Because normally my ethos is I'm rooting for everybody black, and since there's not specifically anybody black, I'm rooting for the next people of color.
Yeah.
But also, from what I could tell, it was a pretty good movie. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I enjoy Bong Joon-ho's spirit.
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate the kind of man that I've seen him to be in interviews and stuff like that. So. But also, if Marriage Story does well, that'll be cool, because Laura Dern's cool. And
yeah, we like Laura Dern. We care not so much for Scarlett Johansson or Adam Driver, but...
I like Adam Driver.
I think he's probably an okay person. I
haven't seen anything bad about him, you know what I mean? Like...
I just don't know that I've ever seen him in anything that I enjoyed watching him in.
Oh, I thought he did a great job in the Star Wars movies. Like...
Oh, I think he acted the part very well. I just... didn't like his character.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I think we can agree disagree here, because I think his character is the best character in the sequel trilogy. That's just me.
I think he's the best. He's definitely the best developed. Like,
I like the idea of like the fashy guy like not being the right one, and his redemption comes down to being like, hey, what if fascism bad though? You know?
What if fascism bad though? What if women right though?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good ethos. But what else? We talked about Parasite, so let's keep the Asian party going. We talked about Tokyo before. Let's go back to Japan for some anime. Rocky segue, but we made
right
it.
On over.
They call it
right on over.
I call it drifting. My Hero Academia. I've caught up to the dub, and you are caught up to where the dub is, maybe beyond.
Yeah.
So
I'm 2 weeks ahead of you now.
Fuck off, though. If I wanted to find out what happened, I could just watch read the manga. Like, it's there. It's so far ahead.
Yeah.
But I guess we could talk a little bit about it. So spoilers up to episode 15 of season 4. Sorry. For the next little bit. If you're watching the sub, then you're already ahead. If you're watching the dub, then you should be caught up, or could be, whatever. Overhaul's defeated.
Yeah, woof.
Quite thoroughly defeated in the coldest shit I've ever seen in any superhero fiction, I guess I should say.
Just absolutely fucking wrecked.
Like Deku made a bad decision by giving Shigaraki some hope back in season 1. Because this man decided to have some ethos, some goals, we can call it, some convictions rather. But I want to talk about real fast how dope Deku looked when he basically went like full Akira, looking with Eri on his back, and just was like,
he looked so good,
like infinite full cowling, one for all. And some people said they didn't like that he has a transformation and it looks a little bit different, but I'm like, his hair was always kind of doing the spike thing, and I like that his clothes ripped some. That makes it an easier cosplay to a degree. I thought it looked sick. It was cool seeing, like, basically he's like, oh, I can just jump off, kick off the air to fly, basically. And area will keep me being alive. I thought that was cool. He was just punching Overhaul so fast he couldn't regenerate. That was pretty nifty.
The thing that I thought was, like, the coolest, like, was later when they were, like, talking through the fight. I think it was, like, Bubble Girl and someone else. And they were like, there's significantly less damage than there should have been, because not only was Deku beating the shit out of him, but also doing it in such a way that there would be the minimum amount of damage to the houses and stuff and the people in them.
Yeah, like when he so it was cool, like when we watched the original episode where he defeats Overhaul, he just like hits him with like Mach speed punches. Apparently that's like a like all the punches that hit him were just a visualization of him just being super fast, but we see him hit him with one final punch, it sends him down, but it turns out in the next episode you see that again, and it's he punches him but then grabs him and flip throws him into the hole that he came out of to begin with, which is very cool to see. I guess in the comics it shows it better, but like Overhaul was using the buildings around him to like he was overhauling those to be like more of his body and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Like
it's such a consistent character beat, I feel like, because it
was foreshadowed in his fight with Night Eye.
Well, yeah, it's the same as like in Night Eye's office when he's like jumping around, but also like fighting it as hard as he can, but also
like dodging the merchandise.
Yeah.
which speaks to like the way that a hero should be. Is, you know, they parodied it like in the Powerpuff Girls and other things, that like, hey man, like superheroes cause a ton of damage, and usually it's, well, the ends justified the means. For instance, like, it made sense for the Hulk to climb up a building to stop that worm thing, because like Hulk may have killed 100 people, but that thing would have killed 1,000 potentially. It made sense. But in the Powerpuff Girls one, it's like, yo, you cost $1 million by blowing up a bridge. The crook stole like $500. Like, it would have been better to just let them go, kind of thing. But whenever possible, it's like, yeah, maybe some people will get hurt, but can you cause less people to get hurt? And Deku embodies that, which is really cool. I assume All Might probably did as well, if we ever would have got to see him do any real heroing. But what else about that? It was cool seeing how much control Overhaul had over his quirk and how strong he must have been, that like he was getting just punched to shit by Deku and didn't die. Also, like, someone pointed out that time that like Mirio one-shotted all of Class 1A and he couldn't one-shot Overhaul, even though he got some hits on him. It's like, oh, okay, this man is conditioned a little bit.
Yeah.
But what else? So it was cool that like Eraserhead canceled Ares' quirk so that Deku didn't die.
Yeah, that was a cool little moment. Like, he was like, I can't do much else to help, but my time has come.
And he just like lifts his finger, and Froppy's like, oh yeah, maybe if I raise this man's head up, he could try something. Also, Sir Night Eye lived. He had a pillar through his body. Lived way longer than made any logical sense.
Certainly ought to have
what else
given.
But yeah, they
not much longer.
Not much longer, but like considerably. Like the fact that he made it to the surface was a joke.
Yeah, that he made it to the surface and made it to the hospital to have an emotional like death scene there,
where he like laughed. He's like, "You're gonna be great one day. Keep smiling."
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we could get to the scene, the ice cold scene. So all the heroes clean stuff up, and I think they realize, like, they get some people coming out like on stretchers and stuff, and Rocklock's like, hell yeah, bro, we did it. Like, on the balance, we saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, like, and there's some like nice scenes and stuff in the hospital of like people reuniting with their family, like Rocklock and his partner and their kid.
Yeah,
like,
his super white wife and his super
wife,
still black baby.
Black
like bro, like that baby's not even like a little mixed. Like that's funny though. To me, I was like, these are the only
powerful genetic.
These are the only two non-white people in all of Japan, from what we could tell. And
I mean, there are a lot of other non-white people in Japan.
That's true, because some of them are like pink and stuff.
Some of them are Asian.
I mean, non-Asian. My bad. I'm so used to talking about America. See, this is the problem with Eurocentrism. That's how you get that's how you get to say things like, "Oh, those black people from Canada. I'm sorry, those African Americans from Canada." You know what I mean? Like, America's not the center of the universe, neither is Europe, and we all have to fight past it. So I'm glad that you called me on that.
No, it's okay. It was just, I was like, the what? Sorry.
But also, also his wife is not a non-white person in Japan. They're the only two non-Asians in Japan, from what we could tell.
Yeah, they're only, like, black people.
Yeah, and then I guess people think All Might's an American, but, like, he's not.
He's just he's a reverse weeaboo. We've established this.
Yes. But also Mirio he has the same thing going on, like the blonde hair and blue eyes, and they're like, nah, he's from here, but,
No, he's...
So all that happens, and they're like, oh man, Kirishima got some lacerations, like, that's it, like... He'll be fine. Like, there's a guy with a stone through his stomach, but whatever. So we get past all...
everyone pretty much was gonna be okay, except for Sir Night-Eye. Like, Facum was already fat again by the time they cut to him in the hospital.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
But that's kind of funny. Apparently, like, we'll get to it, but he wasn't, like... His fatness is just whenever he chooses to. Because in the new ending, there's, like, pictures of people when they were younger, and Facum's there, and he's not fat, but he's not small, but he's certainly, like... more in the fit gum territory, you know what I mean? But whatever. So all the hospital people get taken away, and they lock up Overhaul. They put his hands like in some restraints, which I don't see how they do.
Are like
it must do something, because I don't see
or something.
I hope so, because I don't see why they would work. But whatever, we'll ignore that.
They seemed exactly like the handcuff things that they put on the Burnish in Promare, like.
Yeah. I mean, they have, like, restraint tape and stuff, so they must have something that, like, negates quirks. Or slows you... I don't know.
Like,
we have to just accept it. Or maybe he just gave up at that point.
Take it.
But anyway, so... Shigaraki comes in looking like the Dark Knight on the back of a pickup truck, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So they intercept...
To hijack the ambulance that's taking... what's his name? Overhaul to the hospital. And,
which is like... And they're like, oh man, it's Tomo Shigaraki, this is bad. It's like, yeah, dude, it's pretty bad. And also two other guys. So basically they just disrupt it, and we're not going to get into the whole synopsis, but it's a pretty dope scene of like, man, this guy is really, really good at what he does. They killed the pro hero that was trying to stop him.
Protect, something.
And I find it funny that when they flip over the car, Shigaraki jumps off of that onto the truck, and instead of disintegrating the wheel, he just like steers it. It just, like, crashes it. Like, there's possibly an easier way to do this, but I appreciate your gumption. And they take Overhaul out, and they're like, hey, bud, what's up? And then Dabby and the magician dude, I forget his name. What's his name?
My brain says Presto, and I feel like that's 100% wrong.
It's Mr. Compress. But
Compress,
okay. They just jump out of the truck, like, jauntily, like, oh, hey, what's up? But anyway... Mr. Compress like, oh hey, I'm just gonna take your arm away because you took mine, and I guess he gets a robot arm or something. It looks like he has two arms.
So he turned out all right.
Yeah, he's fine. I guess you can just make arms. There's no reason why you couldn't. So he's like, so Overhaul's like, Nani? And Shigaraki's like, hey, I fucking hate you, bro. He's like, you come to kill me? He's like, nah, we're not gonna kill you, dude.
We're just gonna do something even worse.
So he's like, hey, what are these bullets? I'm gonna take these. Like, those are mine. He's like, nah, they're mine now. And for our buddy Magna, and we're gonna do this because I think it's weird that you talk about taking everyone's quirks away. So I don't think you should have one either. So he starts decaying his arm, so we see like how creepy that looks. He's like, but if I let this go, it's gonna kill you. So I'm gonna cut your arm off, which is a horrifying thing to do to somebody.
Which is, like, next level, like, some Tokyo Ghoul shit in this children's anime.
Children's shonen anime. He's like, I don't want to kill you. He's like, but look... I
want to kill you. I want to torture you.
He's like, but look, man, like, now you're quirkless, dog, like, and we're going to take your plans for our own. And you're going to have to sit back and watch as we just do whatever we want to do. Like, who's going to be the leader of the underground now? I think we should all do our best, man. And you don't even have a thumb to suck on as we do all this. And it does a flashback to Overhaul putting his, like, all the times he had with his adoptive dad. And I think that's when he realizes, oh, I can never take him out of that coma that I put him in now because I can't use my quirk. And he just starts, his hives start popping up and he just screams and they just walk away like badasses. And it's like, bro, that's That's cold. Like that sent chills up my spine. Like this dude
so cold.
decided to be a real ass villain.
It was like just such tonal whiplash for me. Like, not just because it was like, oh, we survived, we defeated the villain, like all this like happy stuff with the heroes, but also because I've been listening to this horror podcast like nonstop the last 2 weeks, and the Magnus Archives is very good. Everyone should listen if you haven't already. But my brain was like expecting like horror stuff. Like, all I've been listening to is stuff about like people getting trapped in caves and like people who were just actually a colony of bugs, like inside of a person's skin and stuff like that. And just like all of a sudden it was like, oh wait, no, this isn't usual for this show.
No, this was
this level of horror.
This was next level, and I thought it was because it's kind of I don't know the word for what it is. Like, I wouldn't call it horror or necessarily body horror. Like the stuff that he was doing to fight was body horror. This was more kind of like an existential horror. Like, I don't know, like, imagine, because I think you kind of, because he was a horrible person who got what he deserved, but you still got to see, like, what his, like, why he wanted, like, man, I wish he could have repaid the guy he thought he needed to repay, but, like, without doing all this, like, without torturing a young child, and without killing people, and without taking the quirk away from the nicest guy anyone's ever seen.
Yeah, the nice guy on Earth.
Yeah.
You have to do hard to be nicer than Deku.
Huh?
You have to try really hard to be a sweeter person than Deku.
Yes, you do. And well, Mirio doesn't have to try at all. He just is. So it's like, I don't wish that the Overhaul wouldn't have had this happen to him, but I wish the circumstances that led to him, like, I wish we could have gone back and said, hey, dude, you don't have to destroy so many lives. You can just relax, you know?
Yeah, this is not going to end well for you.
Yeah, so I like that part's like, oh man, that poor guy, but like not the guy that we've seen for the last 10 episodes. That guy sucks. But like, the guy from right before that was like not the worst dude. But and like losing your arms and then like seeing your life's work like still is, it's weird. I don't know. It's like one of those uncomfortable things. But good scene for Shigaraki, like, because like what's his goal now? Like All Might doesn't have his powers. So, like, the world's in chaos right now. He's just like, I'm just going to be evil for the sake of it.
It's a solid motivation for a villain.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But good episode. You know, Mirio's super sad when Night Eye died. That was appropriately sad. That was an appropriate tearjerker.
My heart.
But I do appreciate, like, bro, like, y'all are probably going to be fine because I didn't know the future could change like that. That's crazy, bro. The power of friendship is real.
My quirk never took into account the fact that shonen heroes can change the future with their hearts.
Well, apparently if everyone's heart is aligned, it can change the future. Which, guess we didn't believe hard enough before during the planning phase, but you know. And the League of Villains is very funny, so that's cool. It's cool. And then, I don't know, the newest episode, do we want to talk about that 15th episode when they get back home? Do we want to get into any of that?
I mean, we can... Do you want to circle back up once you're a little further along?
Yeah, because, I mean, this happened in that one. I don't want to belabor this too much. But it was a fun episode. Okay, let's just talk about the ending and the opening and the ending.
Oh, yeah, so
how do you like the
we've
second
got
opening?
new musics.
Yeah, new music and new visuals. How do you like the new opening?
The new opening, so it reminds me a lot of the opening of the first opening of Bleach, which like is not like a negative or a positive. It's just like this is it feels tonally different from the show.
Yeah,
like because the first season of Bleach is like very like kind of not goofy, but like there's a lot of fighting and like nonsense of that sort in it, but like it's before anything gets really super serious.
Right.
And this felt much more like the opening to like kind of like a slice of life, like cutesy like sports festival kind of show, if that makes sense.
Like it's appropriate for what I'm assuming is coming next.
With like the autumn festival thing.
Yeah, from what I know about the manga, like so it's appropriate to that, but we're not enough removed from the previous arc. Because basically what happens is we get to re-see the scene of Shigaraki taking Overhaul's arms, and then it goes straight into this opening, and it's like,
yeah, this is like
me.
cutesy ass opening. I was like, okay.
And then, or it's either that or like them dealing with like some other villain stuff, but it was like the tonal whiplash was very strange, and it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And the song's not quite as much of a banger as anything we've had thus far.
No, which I mean, like, speaks well for the things we've had thus far, but
that's
still.
true. And the visuals are cool. It makes Jiru look like the main character, though, or at least like
yeah, it does.
At least like the number 2 character. Like her,
yeah,
like it seems like it's going to be about her and Todoroki a lot.
Yeah, which I mean, like, I'm fine. I was like really needing, I feel like, a return to whatever the hell was going on with Todoroki and Bakugo. Like, to me, like, I love Deku, and I love the whole, like, him coming into his powers thing, but this show is such an ensemble show.
Yeah,
and like,
because there's too many good characters in this
show.
I
was very emotionally ready for the gaze to shift back, you know?
Yeah, which I'm glad that at least Mirio was a lot of focus, and like Eri and Overhaul was at least an interesting villain to watch, and like had a compelling thing going on. Because if this would have been like, I don't know, like if this would have been all about just fighting, like if there would have been this much build up to the All for One fight, it'd have been like, and it wasn't like All Might's like last stand or kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because like,
it would have felt
like One for All is not All for One is not a very interesting villain to deal with, because this whole thing is like, I'm evil, I have a bunch of powers.
Just, ha 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 ha, evil, like.
Or, like, basically, he's like, his powers just were basically, what if I was All Might, but without like the fun and the inspiration? It's like, oh,
yeah,
cool.
What if I was All Might but without morals?
Yeah, it's like, that's not that fun to watch, because like All Might's basically fun because of his personality. It's not like his powers are that interesting to watch.
Yeah, he's just like a punch him up kind of guy.
Yeah, whereas Overhaul's like, oh, I'm gonna have to like punch you, but I can do stuff like change the ground or like absorb a person and do all this crazy stuff, and you know, I'm a weird dude. So that was at least interesting. But I'm glad to see like the rest of the class 1A again.
I know, I miss their dumb faces.
There's so many faces. And we'll get into more of that next week or next time we record, whenever that would be. But that's a lot of My Hero talk. It's a good show. Oh, the ending. The ending was good. It's pictures of everybody when they were younger.
Yeah, it's super cute. Like, everyone, like, from All Might to, like, the little baby class 1A and all sorts of...
And, like, the League of Villains was there, too.
Yeah. Little baby, Mirio, and...
Sun Eater.
And Sun Eater.
On that page, I could point out for sure Toga, and I think the other one was Shigaraki and Mr. Compress.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not I want to say it's Shigaraki because you can't see his face, but his lips aren't chapped. And Mr. Compress, like, has a generic face, so I have to just assume his smile we're supposed to know because he's, like, a chef. But the one thing I liked, on the Todoroki page, Todoroki's dad, Endeavor, has a tie that has a fire on it, which the man is a piece of shit, but he's very extra. And then they dressed Todoroki like a jackass. But the detail I liked was on the corkboard, there were, like, 3 photos, and one was there, but it was burnt off. And I'm like, okay, so, like Davi's their kid, right? Like, because it's one of the villains that we didn't see. Like, this has to be him, right? Next time you watch the ending, like, go back and look. It's like one of the pictures just like burnt off or something. So,
nice. Yeah, well,
he's the only kid that's not there.
Solid attention. But yeah, actually, the next 2 episodes that are the episodes of Bakugo et al. Doing their provisional license test stuff are, like, super filler but super funny, and also, like, good Todoroki Endeavor interaction content.
Yeah, even from the little bit we've seen so far, like, he just hangs up on his dad and you're like, this dude's awesome.
So very, very highly recommend. Look forward for the dub to
I'm looking forward to
help you out there.
And the movie comes out at the end of the month, so, you know, that's lots of content. I was thinking
all
something
those
about
heroes.
This. So many heroes. We already got our tickets, so I'm excited.
Our heroes.
My hero.
God. One of my friends was trying to get MCR tickets, and they were, like, stupid expensive because of Ticketmaster's, like, surge pricing thing.
That's dumb.
And we were in the middle of having a union meeting, and she was like, first of all, when Comrade Sanders is president, it won't be My Chemical Romance anymore. It's going to be Our Chemical Romance. Because we're going to socialize this band.
We should at least socialize Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Nationalize the Ticketmaster industry.
I don't think anybody will, that's all hard.
Would complain about that.
That's hard. It's like the free market. I like the free market. But it doesn't.
What about when Ticketmaster gouges prices? Oh, no, fuck that.
Doesn't feel that free when I can't physically get tickets with $1 million. It's like, no, it's not, is it? These queue times are crazy. But let's talk about some other stuff. It's gonna be a long one this week, but probably gonna be cut down to still not that long. I thought last week was gonna be an hour and 20 minutes. It was 40. I don't know how that happened, but who knows? But what do we want to talk about next? You saw a movie this weekend. We want to talk about that?
I sure did. Yeah, I saw a movie on Friday night. I saw Birds of Prey. It was really good.
Oh, was it? Please,
it was.
Tell me more.
So, this is definitely a movie for people who care more about Harley Quinn than about Suicide Squad. Literally,
Everybody?
So everybody. But I mean, the only really even, nod to Suicide Squad existing is the fact that she is the Harley Quinn from that. She's, the movie starts out with her having broken up with the Joker and, starting to make, bad decisions in her sadness, but, I don't know, it was just, it was really funny. I think Kate Leth on Twitter said that it made her bones feel like lightning and glitter for 2 hours. I don't know that I felt quite like lightning and glitter for 2 hours, but, there were so many good fight scenes. All of the characters were really fun. I know that there's been some, the one character I think that people were talking about not being as true to, the soul of the character, was Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, people said that should have just been somebody else.
Yeah, because she's very, very different from, because, Canary is still, a lounge singer who can fight, and, regardless of whether or not she looks like the comic book iteration, but the Cassandra Cain character was not so...
Yeah.
Much, rescued, nonverbal ninja girl.
Okay.
But it was really funny. All of the costumes were great.
Very cool.
See, I know that there was the discourse online about whether Huntress was, a sexy character.
That was weird how, that was such a small discourse. I feel like I got blown out because people were like, yeah, we want to be mad because we hate women, but, we're not that, really that upset about this, actually. I hope, anyway.
Yeah, she's so hot in this movie.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead seems tall. She always wears, tall heels, because she's not that tall. She's, 5'8", I think.
I was literally just gonna say, all that she is in this movie is, tall and stoic and bad at talking to women. And it's good.
She's still Ramona, then.
Yeah.
She'll always be Ramona to me.
Ali Wong is in it?
Okay.
She plays,
so Renee
yeah, so she plays Renee Montoya's ex-girlfriend. Because Renee Montoya is one of the NYPD people. She's, historically been, in relationship with Batwoman and, some other folks, but she, gets pulled into the whole Birds of Prey kind of squad. And yeah, so she and Ali Wong have some, funny repartee. Because Ali's character is, a public defender. So they're, at odds in the police station kind of thing. And I don't know, and so Ewan McGregor's character is a horrible creep of a man, but also and very I'll say queer coded, but I'm pretty sure he's canonically the character is gay.
Okay.
But he's not creepy. There's one vaguely uncomfortable sexually violent kind of scene,
But yeah, he's a male villain. That's
that's
not the only way we
thing.
Can make them intimidating, I suppose.
There's someone in the club that he's mad at, and he makes her get up on the table and dance and rips her dress off. Like, that's, like, the extent of it. It was, like, it was a really uncomfortable scene, but, like, it wasn't, like, I don't know, like, it could have been a lot worse, given what we know from superhero films.
Yeah, this had female directors, correct?
Yeah, a female director, and I think a female screenwriter.
And then Margot Robbie produced it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's something, like, very delightful to me if I'm pretty sure, I'm just gonna do a goog, but they're locked in a destructive relationship, Ewan McGregor's character and his henchman. I
mean, they're villains in DC. Yeah, it's all problematic.
Yeah, it's very queer coded at the very least, and which to me, like, my takeaway is this is a movie in which there are 5 female main characters and a gay bad guy, and therefore no important straight men.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like
which is nice.
I feel like that's part of the appeal. You know, I feel like that's part of what they were going for. Which, whenever I see something like that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not for me then. Okay, but I don't get mad about it. I'm like, whatever. Like, have your movie. I'll be over here. Like, it seems like people quite enjoyed it though, which is good.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who's seen it who isn't like a weird dude bro who gets mad about feminism on Twitter has enjoyed it.
Yeah, I saw one guy who said he enjoyed it, but he's like, I think the characters could have been better. He's like, but he said that was like a problem with like most of the DC movies. And he's like, I didn't feel any specific reason to care about any of the characters, although it was like very enjoyable, which feels like it could be. It feels like that can be an issue if you are precarious about your group up superhero movies. So I don't know how true that is, but I don't know. That was like the most negative thing I said, or I found that was I think they could have developed some of the characters more, which is pretty on the list of things you can insult a movie for. Is pretty low on the insult meter, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But that's the only negative that I've seen about it. Which, you know, it's definitely in the top 3 positive DC movies.
Yeah, I think someone said, like, I think someone on Twitter said it's like the Thor Ragnarok of DC, like, just kind of, like, very bright and colorful and loud queer energy, and...
Yeah. The other thing someone pointed out was this is, like, the first, in a long time anyway, probably since Elektra, first female-led superhero movie that is, like, set in present time, like, the whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, Wonder Woman was in the past, Captain Marvel was mostly in the past. Black Widow must take place in the past.
Like, yeah, gotta.
I would assume. That movie is starting to look more interesting, though. But, I feel like but mostly for the other characters, like, not Black Widow, but, like, the other ladies there, and, like, her dad and Taskmaster. Like, everyone looks cool. She's like, oh, I'm not really here for Black Widow. Like, it's everybody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm here for Florence Pugh, like...
Is that her sister character?
That's the blonde, yeah. Okay. She was in, Little Women and Midsommar.
Okay. Was she the center of Midsommar?
I think so.
Okay. I don't see a lot of movies, so I don't...
I haven't seen Midsommar, I just read the Wikipedia page because I was curious, but okay. I'm too much of a coward to watch it.
I don't think it's that kind of scary, homie.
Oh no, I can do scary audio and scary books, but scary visuals, like, okay. even just gore, like torture or anything like that, like, sticks in my head and doesn't leave.
That's fair. I could see that.
So,
like, unsettling scenes.
Yeah.
What about, like, the Saw movies?
Couldn't do it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Could not. I know that they're more psychological, like, about the psychological more than they are about the, like, chopping off of feet, but...
You know, someone should make a supercut, not a supercut, but an edit of this movie that takes, like, all the trap parts out, or, like, the part where it gets, like, gory, and just, like, sit with the ridiculousness of the series, because it is a hilarious series if you're not, like, watching the blood parts. It is absolutely ridiculous. Almost as convoluted as Fast and Furious. They're making another one. It's called Spiral, from the Book of Saw. It stars Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson has the line, "Y'all want to play games, motherfucker?" And I can't wait to watch it.
Amazing.
But I digress. So Birds of Prey was good. That's good to hear. I do see some of the discourse where people are like, oh, you know, the ideas we had of these characters were hotter than what we saw in the movie. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, they're just, like, different kinds of hot. You know, they're meant to appeal to somebody. The one criticism I don't like of the criticism is people are like, oh, you know, women aren't just here to be, like, attractive for you. Which is true. But it's like, or no, it's, wow, like, why can't women just be in a movie without being sexy? And I'm like, I mean, they're sexy to somebody. Like, let's not act like queer women didn't see this movie and be like, yo, these women look hot. Like, let's not act like everybody left that saying like, man, this movie wasn't hot at all. Like, that didn't happen. But, you know, if just because a movie's not sexy to men doesn't mean anything. It's fine, you guys.
It's
like,
gonna be alright.
If you don't want to see a movie, just, like, don't go see it. Like, it's fine. DC doesn't care. It's in February. I don't think this movie can only, like, outperform expectations. It's in February. What else? What else do we got, Steph?
You want to talk about the return of the most unlikely comeback of 2020 thus far?
What, Death Note coming back?
Yeah.
So I've not kept up with Death Note. I don't know anything about it. I've watched a lot of discussions about the bad American Netflix movie, but I've never, like, watched Death Note. But it came back for a one-shot, which is pretty cool. It was free on Viz.com or Viz, like, from the people who put it out. And the art looks good, and from the people that I know that care about Death Note said it's very good and you should read it.
Yeah.
But the reason that it was brought to my attention beyond just saying that it existed and, you know, I live in the weeb space was that I guess Donald Trump is in it, or at least an analog of him. And
no, it's Donald Trump.
It's him. It's not, okay. And
I don't know. I can't remember if they actually identify him by name, but it's very clearly
it's very clearly him.
Just him, yeah.
But he wants to buy the Death Note, and he claims it'll be so that no one else can use it. But I'm pretty sure it's just to use, right?
So I can.
Yeah.
I did read it, so I can.
Yeah. Then please pontificate.
Jump in.
Not pontificate.
Yeah, but,
elaborate.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's very funny to me because like Light as a villain was like very much like kind of like authoritarian, like I know the best, like I know what we should be doing, like very moralistic but very black and white, and like I should have the power over who lives and dies.
And who tells your story.
Exactly. And the new Death Note holder in this is just a like fucking nihilistic, like anti-capitalist, like troll, like meme lord. That does feel like the opposite. I'll give him that. So he gets the Death Note from Ryuk and decides that the most chaotic thing he can do with it is to auction it off.
That's true. That is.
So he puts.
that is very true.
So he puts it on, like he infiltrates a news broadcast and says like, I am selling the power of Kira, like start bidding. And so like within like a week, like governments are bidding for it. And so Trump ends up being like America ends up being the one who wins it. And they think like, oh well, we'll find out who has it once a winner is chosen because the money has to go to someone. But instead, this king says that the money has to be divided equally between every person with like a Tokyo bank account between the ages of 20 and like 60.
That's dope.
So like and it's like $300 billion American. So like everyone, like every young person in Japan is suddenly like a millionaire. And Ryuk goes to drop off the Death Note to Trump.
This is the scene that like I read. I'm like, this is where they came to just shoot this man in comic form.
Truly. So like he's like, so are you gonna take it? And like it just so you know that like ultimately you're gonna die. Like people who use the Death Note ultimately die. And, like...
So, what I read, I don't know if there's, like, a different translation, but, like, what I saw was, like, Ryuk's like, okay, so apparently there's a new rule now, and...
Oh, yeah, there's a new rule.
Whoever buys it, I guess whoever sells it to, both have to die. He's like, but if you do accept it, it'll just get dropped here, and so I'm sure somebody high-ranking in the United States will find it. And Trump's like, nah, man, I'm not doing that. He's like, so just to be clear, you're putting your own life over your country. And then he just flies away. Is that correct?
That is correct. And it's just like Obata Sensei and Oda Sensei had time. They had time to sit down and write and draw a 90-page free comic sequel to their
award-winning,
groundbreaking, speculative series just to call Donald Trump a coward.
I mean, why not? Like, you have the, you know, whatever you release, people will find it.
It's more satisfying that I started reading it, I was like, can't wait to watch Donald Trump die at the end of this, and then it was actually more satisfying that he didn't die, because everyone knew he was a coward.
And, like, the rest of the world found out, too, right? That he just did not.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Like, that's a very specific kind of, like, yo, fuck this guy.
Schadenfreude is powerful.
That's what happens when you have the power of anime on your side. You can do whatever you want. That's actually hilarious. That they, like you said, they had time to do that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. This is pretty funny and
it's
cool
just
and
hilarious.
good. I mean, what else? What else do we got? Is there anything else to say about that?
No, yeah, I think that's all I've got.
Then we have a couple small updates. This game I like, Wargroove. Friend of the show, y'all will hear the episode soon. Many apologies for the delay, but friend of the show, Fanatic Pete, did music for a game called Wargroove. Great strategy game that I really like. Been playing with my friends a lot, actually. We figured out how to do multiplayer matches. Figured out it's just available in the game. It's part of it, but you can do cross-platform, which means my buddy that plays on PC can play against me on the Switch, and it's asynchronous. I think it's kind of like how old chess used to be. So I take my turn, and then he can take his turn wherever he wants, and then it's my turn again. So we don't have to be playing at the same time. I think he's actually on vacation or something. So whenever he gets back, we'll play. So it's really nice that way, and all the systems can play with each other, except for PS4 maybe. But you got an update, a free update, which had some controversy around it, admittedly, but had an update with 3 new possible commanders, a new campaign, and 2 new units. A lot of Scottish themes. The criticism was drawn that there's 3 commanding characters you can pick, but one of them is 2 people, like 2 twins. The 2 twins and the one character they're all brown, like some like black or something, but they all have like green or white hair. So they're people of color, but their voice actors are white. And people are like, yo, you showed this off. Like, why didn't you think about this? And like honestly, we really did do these voice additions blind, and we were trying, like, we would like to have more diversity, and we apologize for not looking further into it. Part of it's with our agency that we worked with, and we did make an attempt. As you can see, we have other characters in the game, and we do hire people of color, but we can do better, and we'll keep trying to do better, and our apologies. So,
Nice.
The thing that bothered me about it is, like, the announcement of who the voice actors were came out a real long time before the controversy happened. So I'm like, yo, how are people, like, why are people just now getting upset? Was there like an article or something? Like, the time to be upset about this was a few months ago, but whatever. Yeah, like, okay,
it's slow.
You know, the news cycle is what it is. But that said, the voice actors do a good job. It's the characters are very Scottish, so is the music. Remember when Pete told us about Pubstep, his Irish chiptunes? It's kind of like reminded me of that. Just
amazing.
It's so good. It's a fun little story and has like a lot of balance changes, so it's a good update to that. It was free as well. That's the best part. Free update. And as well in the world of gaming, well, before the world of gaming, Good Smile, the Nendoroid people released a lot of prototypes yesterday. It's nutty. So many Nendoroids and Figma figures are coming out. They look so good. So many franchises. Promare, My Hero Academia, Fate. There's a Bayonetta and some Overwatch ones in there. A lot of good stuff. So if you like spending money on figures, you will be able to anywhere from between a week to 2 years from now. And the Overwatch League came back this weekend. It's still currently going on, but there's a lot of good matches. They're all doing hometown matches now. The opening weekends were in New York and Dallas. So the New York team had a really good walkout. They booed London yesterday because that's who played against New York yesterday, and then they played against Boston today, and that was even more booing because New York hates Boston. It's F. Robert Kraft all day. No matter what, look, Patriots or the Uprising, they're getting booed in New York.
Just how it is.
That's how it is and how it should be. What else? But I mean, it was really good. The production's been a little bit sketchy. It always is. It's on YouTube now. It's a little bit different, but it's good to watch some of these players play. That there haven't been so many mirror matches. It's fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to a good season. Wishing luck to the teams for traveling because it's going to be rough having to travel. But at least they don't have to travel to China, so some of the travel could be shorter.
Yeah.
Because all the Chinese games got canceled because of the coronavirus outbreak and all that. So they're trying to rebalance it. But that's good for everybody involved because China is further away from some places than other places. So instead of having to go maybe from San Francisco to China, you might have to go from San Francisco to Los Angeles or like have a bye week or something. So canceling 4 teams worth of games would have been good no matter where it came from. It's not that it's China specifically. If it would have been like some of the... Actually, anything that just wasn't in America, since that's where most of the teams are, America, and there's 2 in Toronto. If they would have canceled all the worldwide games besides North America, I think all the teams would have still just been as happy, like, hey, we were all in Los Angeles last year, so... And all the people who bought tickets says I think got their money refunded or some sort of compensation since it's not their fault, so... What an episode. We're just not getting to an hour. It feels like we've been talking for so long.
I know, same.
But I feel like this was a good return to form. I feel like we had some good discussion. Anything we want to catch back up on? Yeah, back in the saddle. Anything else we want to discuss or go over or bring back to the friends and fam listening?
I don't think so. Recycle, register to vote.
Yeah, all the good things.
Tip your wait staff.
Eat your vegetables. Eat your fruits. Always flush the toilet. Wipe off the seat. All the let's do them more.
Exercise endorphins are real.
That's true. Still go to therapy and take your meds. But if you have the energy, exercise might be a nice little bump. Or at least run around your house or apartment. Let's end this.
Yeah.
Do you want to hit the people with our lovely social media biz?
Sure. Let's see, y'all. You can find us everywhere on the internet, pretty much. You can find us on... What are you doing?
I was playing with the rubber band, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
it's music.
Just a little accompaniment in the background. You can find us on Twitter at CharacterRev. You can find us on Facebook at Character Reveal. You can find us on all of the podcast catchers. On all of them. You can find us on the iTunes. You can find us on Stitcher, on Google Play Podcasts, on Spotify.
That's the one that I always forget that we're on Spotify because I don't have it.
Podcatcher. So you can also find us on your browser of choice by going to characterreveal.simplecast.fm. You can find us on, I don't know, where else? On Instagram at Character Reveal.
That's true.
We post, some clips and stuff of our episodes so you can get, a taste of what you're in for. That's
true. We're also on YouTube, but we can't really give you the link since it's just going to be, until we hit, a certain threshold, it's just going to be, letters and characters. So it's not, something that I'm going to be able to memorize. But
you can find our channel.
Yeah, you can find our channel, and the link's also in the description of wherever you're listening to this from. If you're listening from YouTube, hey, we appreciate that, actually. Thank you. I think that's pretty much everything. Where can people find you at, Steph? On the internet, I guess.
Me, yeah, on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at Captain Steph, on Instagram at HellaSteph, on Tumblr at The Snow Queer, and you can find Dom everywhere at Brother Dom.
That's me. You can find me. Be my friend. But I think that's everything. I set them up, you knock them down, intro me, outro you. We're a team crushing it. And we just did another one. Simple, so easy. Glad we have this technology.
Amazing.
Listeners, thanks so much for rocking with us on another one. Appreciate all the listens. It feeds my joy. I like how people listen. And I think that's about it. We appreciate it. And until next time, see you later.
Bye.